Cowboys fans, get excited. Mazi Smith made a strong impression in his debut preseason game, and we've got the full breakdown. Discover how Smith's performance could signal great things for the upcoming season and what it means for the Cowboys' defensive line. Join us for an in-depth analysis of Smith's key moments, his impact on the game, and what's next for the Cowboys. Stay up to date with the latest Cowboys news and updates, hit that subscribe button, and dive into the action with us. Hey there, Cowboys Nation! Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a die-hard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. First things first, let's set the stage. The Dallas Cowboys kicked off their preseason against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and while preseason games might not count in the standings, they're crucial for player development and evaluation. Today, we're putting the spotlight on our first-round draft pick, Mazi Smith, who's been turning heads since training camp began. Now, before we get into Smith's performance, let's rewind a bit. When the Cowboys selected Mazi Smith with the 26th overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, there were mixed reactions. Some fans and analysts praised the pick, citing Smith's raw power and potential to shore up our run defense. Others questioned whether he was worth a first-round selection, pointing to his limited production at Michigan. But let me tell you folks, after watching Smith in action during this preseason game, those doubters might want to reconsider their stance. The big man showed flashes of brilliance that have got the entire Cowboys organization excited about his future. Let's break down some key moments from Smith's preseason debut. In the first quarter, on a 2-7 play, Smith exploded off the line of scrimmage, using his impressive strength to bull rush the Jaguars guard. He collapsed the pocket, forcing the quarterback to scramble and throw an incomplete pass. This play alone showcased the disruptive potential that made the Cowboys fall in love with Smith during the draft process. But it wasn't just his pass rushing that stood out. On a 3-yard and short situation in the second quarter, Smith anchored against a double team, holding his ground and allowing our linebackers to flow freely to the ball carrier. The result? A tackle for loss and a crucial stop. This is exactly the kind of play that the Cowboys coaching staff has been yearning for from their interior defensive line. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. It's just one preseason game. Don't get too excited. And you're right, we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. But let me tell you why Smith's performance is so encouraging. First and foremost, it's the improvement we're seeing from Smith. During OTAs and the early days of training camp, there were reports that Smith was struggling to adjust to the speed and complexity of the NFL game. Some fans started to worry that we might have another Taco Charlton situation on our hands. But Smith has shown a remarkable ability to learn and adapt quickly. In just a few weeks, he's gone from looking somewhat lost to making impactful plays against NFL-caliber competition. This rapid improvement speaks volumes about Smith's work ethic and coachability, two traits that are absolutely crucial for success in the NFL. Defensive coordinator Dan Quinn had this to say about Smith's progress. Mazi's been putting in the work, day in and day out. He's like a sponge, soaking up everything we throw at him. What you saw in the game is a result of his dedication and the time he's spent perfecting his craft. Let's talk about Smith's physical attributes for a moment. At 6'3" and 337 pounds, he's an imposing figure on the field. But what sets Smith apart is his rare combination of size and athleticism. In college, he was known for his ability to move laterally and chase down plays, something you don't often see from a man his size. During the preseason game, we saw glimpses of that athleticism. There was a play in the third quarter where Smith shed his blocker and chased down a running back on an outside zone play. The speed and agility he displayed on that play had the commentators raving and the fans on their feet. But it's not just about physical tools. What impressed me most about Smith's performance was his mental approach to the game. He showed great awareness, consistently reading his keys and reacting quickly to what the offense was doing. This is a significant step forward from the raw prospect we saw in college. Now, let's put Smith's performance into context within the larger picture of the Cowboys' defense. For years, Dallas has struggled to find consistent interior pressure and run-stopping ability from their defensive tackles. The last time we had a truly dominant force in the middle was arguably Leroy Glover back in the early 2000s. If Smith can develop into the player the Cowboys believe he can be, it could transform our defense. Imagine a defensive line with DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons rushing from the edges, and Mazi Smith collapsing the pocket from the inside. That's the stuff of nightmares for opposing quarterbacks. Speaking of Micah Parsons, the star linebacker had high praise for his new teammate. "Mazi's a beast, man," Parsons said after the game. "You can see the potential. Once he puts it all together, he's going to be a problem for offenses." Let's dive into some numbers to really appreciate Smith's impact. In just 25 snaps, Smith recorded 2 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 quarterback hurry. Those might not seem like eye-popping stats, but for a defensive tackle playing limited snaps in his first NFL action, it's impressive. To put it in perspective, let's compare Smith's preseason debut to some other recent first-round defensive tackles. Aaron Donald, widely considered the best defensive tackle in NFL history, had 2 tackles and 1 tackle for loss in his first preseason game. Vita Vea, another dominant interior force, had 1 tackle and 1 quarterback hit. Now, I'm not saying Smith is the next Aaron Donald. That would be unfair and premature. But these comparisons show that Smith's performance is right in line with what you'd hope to see from a highly drafted defensive tackle. But Smith's impact goes beyond just his individual stats. His presence on the field seemed to elevate the play of those around him. Osa Odigizua, another young defensive tackle who's been improving steadily, looked particularly energized playing alongside Smith. The two of them formed a formidable duo in the middle, consistently pushing the pocket and making life difficult for the Jaguars' interior offensive line. This ripple effect is something to keep an eye on as we move through the preseason and into the regular season. If Smith can consistently demand double teams and create chaos in the middle, it's going to open up opportunities for our edge rushers and linebackers to make plays. Now, it wasn't all perfect for Smith. There were a few plays where he got washed out of his gap in the run game, and he did seem to tire a bit toward the end of his playing time. These are areas that he'll need to continue working on as he adjusts to the NFL game. Conditioning, in particular, is going to be crucial for Smith. The NFL season is a long grind, and defensive tackles take a beating on every play. Smith will need to continue improving his stamina to maintain his effectiveness throughout games and across the entire season. Another area where Smith can improve is in his hand usage. While his raw power was evident, there were times when he relied too much on his strength and not enough on technique. As he continues to work with defensive line coach Aiden Durd, expect to see Smith's hand fighting skills improve, making him an even more formidable force. That's all for today, Cowboys Nation. What did you think of Mazi Smith's performance? Are you excited about his potential? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Cowboys News Today for all your Dallas Cowboys updates.